They got him out. They got Ty Lue in the seat. That's who they wanted. They got paydays. They wanted Reggie Jackson. They got him. They got him paid. They got everything and more. This organization has granted them their every wish, and they still haven't delivered. They barely showing up to work. And this is why you shouldn't have faith in the Clippers. And I'm with J. Rose on this. It's not going to happen this year.
Load management has always been sort of a heavy topic for me because I'm not really sure what the solution to it is. On one hand, you have these uber talented players who need it and greatly benefit from it. And then on the other hand, if it's not done properly, it can hurt your team, it can hurt chemistry, and it can also hurt the fans who are paying hard-earned money to watch some of the best athletes in the world do what they do best. You guys can't sit there and tell me that this guy holding this sign that says I traveled 809 miles to take my son to see Steph Curry sit on the bench doesn't hit you right in the feels. I know it was an overtime back-to-back for the Warriors, but sometimes avoiding those back-to-backs can't even save you. Due to an overwhelming amount of injuries, whether we like it or not, we are in the era of load management. Now don't get it confused. I'm all for PG and Kawhi tactically getting back into the flow of things. For me, it's just become hard to ignore the massive amount of missed games across the league and, of course, the massive amount of injuries. I thought that Stan Van Gundy made a great point on Twitter. He said that 90s NBA teams had just a trainer and a strength coach. They practiced more often and harder and played more back-to-backs. Teams now have huge medical and performance staffs and value rest over practice. Yet injuries and games missed are way up. Something's not working. Kevin Durant would actually end up agreeing with Stan, saying that Stan is spitting. This whole interaction would end up being comedy at its finest because Stan took KD's spitting reply as a rebuttal. In the end, KD would say, "Stan, I agree with you," and Stan would become educated on today's slang. To get back to the topic at hand, injuries suck and I'm tired of them changing today's game for the worse. While I know it's impossible to live in an injury-free world, I still agree with Stan that something has to shake. The same way that something has to shake for this Los Angeles Clippers team. We've got Paul George coming out here saying things like the urgency starts now. We've got to start playing with some desperation. While it's only January, this team has become too comfortable building bad habits in the past. I understand that major injuries to your two stars and entire roster can flat out change your outlook, but that shouldn't lower the level of effort or sense of urgency that your team plays with. If you ask me, it should raise it. There's no reason that I should be watching the 28th ranked offense in the San Antonio Spurs drop 72 first half points on this team. This season, the Los Angeles Clippers have to ask themselves some very tough questions and find some very tough answers, and we'll get into that. But first, this video is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks has been super enjoyable for me this season, and check this out, they're stepping their game up with the NFL playoffs in full swing. If you guys still haven't downloaded the app or signed up, make sure to use code COOP when you do so that you could get your initial deposit doubled. Now is a great time to take advantage of PrizePicks NFL playoff reboots. What this does is it ensures your picks, so if one of your NFL players exits early, you still have a chance to win big. Let's be real, injuries suck, but they do happen, and especially in the NFL. Now, with as big of a football fan as I am, basketball is still my first love, so you know I had to mix some hoops into my lineups. Let me know what you think of this lineup down in the comments below. The way that this season has played out so far for the Clippers has been terrible. We're talking about a team with championship aspirations. The Clippers have been injured, unmotivated, and realistically have looked flat out old. Which, I mean, to be real with you guys, when you look at their roster on ESPN.com, they're not exactly the youngest team. The icing on this whole debacle of a cake is that while this team has the talent to be players in the trade market and has made moves over the seasons, they don't even own the full rights to their pick this year. Meaning that if this season continued to head south for them and the Thunder continued their surge up the Western Conference ranks, then the Thunder would have the option to swap picks with the Clippers. And of course, that's thanks to the notorious Paul George trade that helped to bring Kawhi to town while also sending this boatload of assets to the Thunder. In order to acquire PG, the Clippers would send out Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a 2021 first-round pick that became Trey Mann, a 2022 first-round pick that became Jalen Williams, a 2023 first-round pick from the Heat, a 2023 first-round pick swap, a 2024 first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick swap, and a 2026 first-round pick. As you guys can tell, that's a lot of picks. If you draft that many times, you're probably going to pick a beast with at least one of those picks. And well, that's kind of been the case for the Thunder, as they're just incredible at drafting. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that sit here and tell you that the risk wasn't worth it for the Los Angeles Clippers. This franchise has been through some incredibly dark days. If you get a chance to get a peak Kawhi Leonard coming off of a Finals MVP and a OKC Paul George that was playing at an MVP level, averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, then you probably do the move too without the benefit of hindsight. Again, I won't tell you that the risk wasn't worth it for the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm simply not that guy. But what I will tell you is that there have been multiple disappointing years, from the 3-1 bubble disappointment that robbed us of the Battle of LA to the injury-riddled play-in season. Things just have not been perfect for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now again, I don't want it to seem like I'm really down on this team, because let's be real, this team making it to the conference finals in 2021 was an accomplishment that shouldn't get slept on. While the injury luck has been brutal out in LA, fortunately for the Clippers, they still have PG, and Kawhi has started looking like Kawhi, averaging 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in the month of January. Also fortunately for the Clippers, they haven't let their poor injury luck cloud their vision, and they recognize that they still need to upgrade their roster the best that they can. According to Shams, they've been looking for a lead guard and another center. They've been tied to some names like Miles Turner, D'Angelo Russell, and Mike Conley. As solid as Zubats is capable of being, I understand the interest in Turner and adding another center. There's no other way to put it, but this team needs somebody that's capable of putting a lid on the rim and patrolling the paint. What's kind of funny is that apparently this team is also willing to move John Wall to get this front court depth that we just referenced. Now, as much as I love John Wall, I can't imagine his return being the greatest at this stage of his career. In the comments below, let me know what players you think would be good for the Clippers to target. Hopefully, the Clippers make a play that alleviates them of their shaky play at point guard and saves us from Ty Lue being his own worst enemy. Now, when it comes to the OKC side of that Paul George trade, where do I even start? Trey Mann is flash scoring upside. I watched him in a game last season against Boston where he flat out looked like a mix of Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard. This guy was pulling from all over the court. Then don't get me started on the 2022 number 12 overall pick, Jalen Williams. People are already saying that this guy should have been top 5 in this past year's draft. And I agree with them. There aren't many rookies that have shown me the IQ and ability that Williams has. J-Dub is a big guard with vision, length, and creativity, who's had to play bigger than he is to crack OKC's rotation. Now, I know this is gas, but he has some traits that remind you of Harden back in his OKC days. According to Draft Dummies, J-Dub actually has more dunks this year than Joel Embiid and has had more than any other guard in the NBA. I know that it's sort of become fun to joke about the Thunder as this team that's always tanking, but the reality is that this team has done a great job maximizing their assets and players in a short amount of time. As a matter of fact, the Thunder haven't been tanking at all this season. At the time that I'm making this video, they've been heating up more than anything. The Thunder are 7-3 in their last 10 games, sporting the 3rd best net rating of any team in January. There's so much to be excited about when it comes to this team. They have more picks than I think should be legal, and they're loaded with steals like Isaiah Joe and upside players like Giddey, who in this case, Giddy just so happens to be a 6'8", 6'9" guard with absurd vision that just continues to develop as a scorer. Guys, mind you that Chet Holmgren, the number 2 pick in this past year's draft, who many have already gave the unicorn title to, hasn't even played a single minute in the NBA yet due to injury. When it comes to the talent on this Thunder roster, I can talk for days. I'm still surprised we haven't seen a contender poach Kenrich Williams away. If you guys want a full breakdown on the Thunder, just let me know down in the comments below. What's amazing is that the Thunder have all of this, and they also already have their franchise cornerstone thanks to the Paul George trade. Shai is somebody who has relentlessly become a nightmare for opposing defenses and is silky smooth all over the floor. Shai has no problem getting to the basket or creating space to knock down a pull-up. This season, Shai has leveled up as an all-around player into one of the best guards in the game, averaging over 30 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Shai is only 24 years old, and I know this is going to sound like an oversimplification, but the sky is literally the limit for him. While we've seen his name involved in some trade speculation in the past due to the Thunder, quote-unquote, wanting to tank, Shai has made it clear that he wants to build and grow with this Thunder team. And with all of the talent that they have, I really can't blame him. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think of everything. Can the Los Angeles Clippers win a championship this season? What has to change for that team going forward? Can you continue to rely on Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Mind you that this team is only 10-7 with both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George healthy this season. Again guys, let me know what you think of everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.